Thank you so much to everyone who is joining us today. I'm really excited to welcome you and all of our speakers who are from a range of diverse backgrounds and sectors, strung together more or less by the common view that people are really the start and the end and the center of achieving sustainability, whether that's through our ways of life, our attitudes, our values, our drivers, and even our support and dissatisfaction towards how certain realities are unfolding today, particularly with the current pandemic accelerating and exaggerating existing concerns and challenges, and with economic recovery at the forefront of agendas. So my name is Hana Morel, and I'm behind today and tomorrow's events, which are part of work carried out by the AHRC Heritage Priority Area. We're really going to push to try and stay to time today, but I just wanted to flag up that our hashtag is Sustainable Heritage Policy, so do continue the conversation on Twitter. And we're also recording this to share online. Yep, just double checked that it's recording, and it is. And but that is, of course, dependent on each presenter's permission afterwards. So coming back to today's event, today is part of a wider research agenda in what is now the next stage of follow-on funding from the AHRC Heritage Priority Area with Professor Rodney Harrison as Leadership Fellow. The priority area's remit, which you can look at in detail online, explores and researches heritage across themes such as global challenges, sustainable development goals, climate change, and other areas of social and policy-related change, as well as how heritage fits in with the many issues that our future faces. So it's follow-on funding, which is called Opening New Pathways to Impact Across Heritage Research, Policy, and Practice, really expands that work with the aim to draw together different sectors involved with research with the more crucial angle of facilitating or at least inspiring policy engagement for improved democratic practices and decision-making through evidence and research. And today's virtual conference basically forms part of that work. It's about reflecting inwards and outwards about what it is we do in our different silos and our different worlds of approaches, methodologies, partners, and audiences, and really about making the point together about how important the arts and humanities are, and how actually our involvement shouldn't just be a nice add-on to agendas or practices, but is fundamental to ensuring people are central to planning for sustainability. And as the slide shows, a lot of our activities have this underlying goal to influence and become influencers in the areas we know about, in the spheres where decisions are made, and with the evidence needed to develop strong and sound policy. And of course, there are so many inspiring individuals and pieces of work today that are really accomplishing those goals brilliantly, many of whom we're lucky to have with us today and also at tomorrow's event. And I also just wanted to quickly say that the work continues with AHRC Heritage Priority Area, and next month we'll be hosting the 5th Association of Critical Heritage Studies conference virtually with some 1,000 participants already registered. And we have the International Design Competition, Reimagining Museums for Climate Action, which is led by Rodney Harrison and Colin Sterling from the team. And you can find more details about that in the program at the end of it. So now just to move on to this morning, in your program, you'll see speakers alongside their background and their bio. So do use that to find out more about them, because I will just be introducing them by name. And but in short, I want to say even just now, a huge thanks to all the speakers. And today's event is particularly important as it highlights not only the fantastic research being done in relation to global challenges, but also the multiple angles we can approach and understand the vast world of achieving sustainability, and the hope is that these events expose us to those differences. Which moves me on to just a very, very quick contextualization in the exploring of Goal 17 of the UN's Transforming Our World 2030 agenda, and thinking about what it means by partnerships and how this might relate to heritage. Nowadays, the UN's SDGs are really our go-to framework when we think about global challenges and sustainability. And if you're involved in working with global challenges, you'd know that many of the goals that we need to resolve are actually really entangled and interrelated with one another. Goal 17, though, is probably one of the most important goals. It's designed to cut through the framework and offer the means of implementation, which essentially is policy integration through partnerships. It's basically saying without strong, inclusive, and integrated partnerships through collaboration at all levels of society, we won't really get anywhere. And actually, the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs has already said that the lack of integration across sectors in terms of strategies, policies, and implementation has been seen as one of the main pitfalls to sustainable development for quite some time. Because as we all know, building relationships doesn't happen overnight, but instead takes a lot of time, patience, persistence, effort, trust, and of course, resources. And actually, that collaborative partnership or collaborative governance is really dependent on social sustainability, whose importance is often neglected by mainstream discussions on sustainability. So for the next few minutes, I just wanted to quickly highlight what social sustainability actually encompasses, because I think that there's a lot that heritage studies and the wider arts and humanities can offer in terms of achieving aspects of social sustainability. So the areas it covers includes equity, social justice and equalities, social support, human and other rights, placemaking, community resilience, adaptation, and a lot of other realities related to community and development, which we're all familiar with if we study heritage. A definition offered by the Oxford Institute for Sustainable Development sees social sustainability as concerning how individuals, communities, and societies live with each other. And it really links this to equality and other issues concerning participation, needs, social capital, happiness, and quality of life. On the slide, you can see some of the indicators that might be considered in what the Berkeley Group has introduced as a social sustainability framework. And what I'm particularly interested with here is the voice and influence section at the bottom, which advocates that people and communities need to be empowered to be able to influence decisions and policies that impact them, and that is the core aspect of social sustainability. And there are also a lot of other reports that go back further to link this empowerment with well-being, where well-being is higher in areas where residents, for example, can influence decisions and where they have the confidence to exercise control over local circumstances and set up community initiatives. The Egan report, which came out in 2004, for example, shows the relationship between good governance and social sustainability through supporting empowerment, identity, placemaking, and so on across different communities. And the report also recognizes two components of social sustainability as a social and cultural and governance. And if you look closely, there are so many relevant areas on the slide that research and heritage study already addresses. So this includes things like sense of community, belonging, tolerance towards different cultures, social inclusion, and the right to representation. So I just wanted to flag these up very quickly on the side. this side of sustainability before kicking off today, and also to think about maybe next steps. So while we drive towards sustainability and try to tackle global challenges from so many angles, we really need to think about what this means in terms of transformation and how this might need to be managed transformation and through people to avoid further inequalities and inequities that can come from the transformation. And ultimately, a lot of the barriers to action that we see are sociocultural or political, and regardless of how much evidence and data we have to back those decisions. So I just wanted to kind of say here quickly, heritage studies can play a powerful role in understanding some of those nuances of good governance, collaborative partnerships, and successful or failed relationships, and be an enabler to tackle some of those challenges that we face. And we have to play to those strengths to ensure basically that it doesn't become the barrier. So thank you, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the day.